Okay, so the first thing I had to do is generate some stars on the screen, right? Which is overworld load. Here we go. Right here, it's making some random stars. They're in the shape of rectangular prisms, obviously, though. But then after you do that, I had to define a player. He's got 3 different axes, X, Y, and Z, defined by a vector 3. And those move around. They move around. You press the keys down, rotating. All 3 of those points rotate, and then your movement is only allowed to go in those axes for all the movements. Okay. And then that just moves the player around, in math, right? 3 dimensions. But to get the stuff to draw onto the screen, gosh, yeah, and then like the freaking player movement. Hold on, where is my? These are my self-made functions here. Distance 3D, unit axis 3D. You need that to make smooth movement any direction. You have to turn, like, each of those axes are unit axes. Multiply them by the speed to the final Z heading, X, Y, and Z, and you get a smooth movement any direction. But you don't get is a camera rotated. So that's what I have: a different quaternion player, and I have a quaternion camera. And then I used cross product to rotate the camera by finding an axis 90 degrees of 2 vectors, and one is the default camera. No, it's not right on the board. Default camera, and then the player's heading, and then a arc cosine function to get how many degrees to go in that function. But then to draw it, you have to define everything based off the original 3D points, iterate through a loop, and rotate every single one of those stars between every frame. Find every star, rotate it relative to the player, which is what this minus pointer player 3D point 3D is about. And then after you rotate that, the final thing was this: rotate a new relative x-axis with first rotation, and then use the atan on that relative axis to give me a atan 2 to give me a radian turn for the final roll amount, which would happen right here. These are the 2 rolls that cause the camera to be aligned finally. But then everything 3D has to be converted to 2D, and that's what this camera projection is all about. And then you finally get some points on the screen, which are, 2D, because everything's got to be 2D, or else you can't draw it at all. Crazy. So now I have to fix this. If camera default does not equal player heading, don't do any rotation for that. It's easy.